My creative practice usually starts with a slow morning with a cup of coffee, some quiet time, and usually a walk with my dog. I think creativity is the ability to see the potential in something ordinary, to take what exists like raw clay and transforming it into something beautiful or meaningful or unexpected. My name is Danielle Coleman and I create pottery. I discovered ceramics in high school. I had explored other art forms prior to that, but for some reason ceramics just really clicked for me immediately. I remember the first thing that I had made in that ceramics class was a set of teacups, and something about the very practical nature of creating just made a lot of sense for me and my personality and my mind. Through clay, I could make something that was both beautiful and deeply functional. Objects that don't just sit to be admired, but that become part of your daily routine. The ceramic process follows a general rhythm, but I usually like to start on paper with a rough sketch. And then once I have what I want on paper, I will start prep work like wedging the clay, kneading it so that all the air bubbles are out and that the clay is a workable, pliable consistency. I will take that ball of clay and throw it or form it on the wheel. So you start with centering the clay, creating an opening in the clay, pulling those edges up to form the piece, and then continuing to refine it so that you achieve the shape that you want. Once the piece is formed, I will take it and let it sit out to dry. Coming to a vision can start out with something maybe specific in mind, but I have found that the process has its own way of changing that vision. The beauty of ceramics is that you really don't know what you're gonna get until the very final step. Like, you're playing with clay, but the clay is gonna look completely different in the end. So you really have to use your imagination and hope that this is something that you're gonna connect with. For me, ceramics is not just about self-expression or creating something beautiful. It's about problem solving, curiosity, and being open to discovery. Once I have that final piece, I will then allow it to dry fully. And this can be kind of a slow process. It just depends on how large or thick the piece is. Clay has its own timeline, and things don't turn out the way you hope for in the end. No matter how hard you try to plan and carefully execute, you really are never fully in control. I also seek controlled outcomes. I want to know, if I can, what life has in store for me. But I found that faith isn't about certainty, it's about trust. Just as I release my work into the kiln, not knowing how it will turn out, faith calls me to release my own plans and desires. And even though there's a lot of uncertainty, I can trust that something beautiful and good is being shaped. Once the piece has been fired, you usually let it cool for another 24 hours, and then you can finally open the kiln and hope and pray that everything comes out in one piece. Ceramics is about creating something that serves and delights and brings warmth into your daily life. I love that when I make something with my hands, it will then become a part of someone else's life, whether it's through a mug that someone reaches for in the morning or a bowl shared around a dinner table. Ceramics has a way of naturally fostering connection, hospitality, and gratitude. I think also it's maybe less about what the piece does and more about how it pulls in people in the community. I'm really thankful for that type of opportunity to use my talents or what I know, my craft, to create something as small and simple as a communion cup. For a church, it gives me a way to contribute, even if it's in a really small way. Creativity reminds us that beauty matters. A handmade bowl, a thoughtfully designed book cover, or a beautifully arranged vase of flowers. These things have a way of elevating our everyday lives. They bring richness to the mundane. They remind us that life is not just about function, but also about finding delight and joy in the small things.